Blocking my dad's wife on my phone and social media after she refused to accept my no to staying longer with her and her kids. I, 24F, recently found myself in a situation that has caused a significant rift in my relationship with my dad's wife, Kelly, 38F. I've been questioning whether I handled things the right way, or if I went too far by blocking her on my phone and social media. I'm hoping to get some outside perspectives because, honestly, I'm feeling really conflicted about it. A little background, my parents divorced when I was 12, and it wasn't a pretty split. My dad remarried Kelly when I was 17. Kelly has 2 kids from a previous marriage, who are now 15 and 13. I've never been particularly close to Kelly or her kids, and I've always had a complicated relationship with my dad since the divorce. We're civil, but we're not as close as we used to be. Recently, my dad asked if I could spend a few days at his house to help out with some family stuff while he was out of town for work. Kelly was going to be there with the kids, but my dad said they could use an extra hand, especially since the kids had some school activities coming up, and Kelly could use the support. I was hesitant at first because, like I said, we're not super close, but I figured I could do it for my dad. When I arrived, things were fine at first. Kelly was polite, and the kids were their usual selves. I helped out with meals, drove the kids to their activities, and tried to be as helpful as possible. But as the days went on, Kelly started making comments about how it would be great if I could stay longer, even after my dad came back. At first, I thought she was joking, so I just laughed it off. But then she started bringing it up more seriously, saying things like, "It would be so nice if you could stay for a few more weeks. The kids love having you around, and it's been so much easier with you here." I appreciated the sentiment, but I have my own life, job, and responsibilities. Plus, staying longer was never part of the plan. When I politely declined, explaining that I needed to get back to my own life, Kelly didn't take it well. She started guilt-tripping me, saying things like, "I don't know how I'm going to manage without you," and "the kids are going to be so disappointed when you leave." I tried to stay firm and reiterated that I couldn't stay longer, but the guilt-tripping continued. It all came to a head the night before I was supposed to leave. Kelly cornered me in the kitchen and basically begged me to stay another week. She was nearly in tears, saying how hard things have been for her lately, and how much she appreciated my help. I felt terrible, but I knew I couldn't stay. I told her again that I had to go home, and she got really upset. She accused me of being selfish and not caring about the family, and said that I was abandoning them when they needed me the most. I didn't know what to say, so I just went to my room and packed my things. The next morning, I left early before anyone was awake, and when I got home, I found that Kelly had blown up my phone with texts, asking me to reconsider and calling me ungrateful and inconsiderate. She even left me a voicemail, crying and saying that she didn't know how she was going to manage without me. At that point, I felt overwhelmed. I couldn't deal with the constant pressure and guilt-tripping, so I decided to block her number and her social media accounts. I just needed some space and time to think without being bombarded by her messages. Since then, I've been feeling really guilty. I know blocking her was a drastic move, and part of me wonders if I should have handled it differently. I've tried talking to my dad about it, but he's been pretty non-committal, saying things like, "Kelly just gets emotional sometimes," and "maybe you could have stayed a little longer." That just made me feel worse because it felt like he was siding with her. Now, I'm wondering if I was the asshole for blocking her. I didn't want to hurt anyone, but I felt like I was being backed into a corner and didn't know how else to handle it. I'm also worried that this is going to cause long-term damage to my relationship with my dad and his family. So, viewers, blocking my dad's wife after she refused to accept my no to staying longer? Should I have tried to handle it differently, or was I justified in creating some distance?